guys, it's Meg and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create a Mother's Day card, so let's just get into it. So to start off, you need to fold the card in half, and the card we're going to be making will be an A5 and will open upwards as opposed to like a book from left to right. And then once you've got that, you can press down at the middle back of the card and pull your fingers out to the sides. You can then go over the fold quite a few times to make sure it's pressed in well enough, and this is the basic shape of the card that we're going to be creating. So for this I've used card as opposed to paper, but if you don't have card, paper will be just fine. It's just a bit more flimsy, so it might be an idea to stick two pieces of paper together, for example, but if you've got some card, that'll probably be better for this, just so the card is able to stand up once you've finished it. The idea for this design has actually come from a box I was recently gifted by Paperchase. This isn't a sponsored video or anything, but I just love the design on it. It's such a pretty box. I'm not sure the lighting is doing it justice, but it's in these kind of muted pastel colours. We've got yellows, violets, purple, peachy pinks, and I've been inspired by this to create the design I'm going to be doing today, so hopefully you like it as well. As you can see, it's very spring themed, which is perfect for Mother's Day. It's really pretty and delicate. I love the bumblebees. We've got lots of different types of flowers, which I thought would be really fun to draw and colour in. We've got butterflies, you name it, it's on there, and I just thought this would be the perfect design for a Mother's Day card. So this is the inspiration, and what you're going to need next is your card, pencil and ruler, and then we can get started. So the first thing we need to do is measure out the very basic structure of the card, and the design I've come up with is going to have some drawings across the top, and then we're going to have a strip through the middle where we're going to write Happy Mother's Day. So if you have a ruler that you could use for this, that would be perfect. And I've already measured this off camera, but for my ruler, it's about 5.5 centimeters down from the top of the card to make sure it's in the middle. And then I'm just going to draw a line above and below the ruler, so the thickness of the ruler is perfect to create the strip that we will then use to write the Happy Mother's Day in. And the section above and below is where we're going to do our illustrations inspired by the Paperchase box. So now we need to pencil out the illustrations, and I'm going to go ahead and do this off camera just because the pencil doesn't show up particularly well on the camera, so let's save a little bit of time and I'll skip to the pencil being complete. So now we have the basic pencil sketch, it's time to do the fun bit, which is starting with our fine liner pen. But to hold the paper in place, I am just going to use a bit of washi tape on the sides to keep the paper relatively still. So I'm just using tiny bits on both sides and probably one at the bottom in the middle of the page as well. So these pieces of tape are stuck on the inside of the card as opposed to on the outside, and that just means it then won't be interrupting anywhere where we need to be drawing, but it will still hold the paper in place. So now let's get started with the pen. So I'm using the 0.05 pen to do all of these outlines of all the illustrations I've already penciled in. Because all the drawings are quite delicate, they're small, so I needed to use the smallest fine liner that I've got, and this is the 0.05. If you don't have a small black pen that you can use for the outline, I would actually recommend, rather than using a thicker one, maybe just don't have an outline at all and you could just colour over the top of the pencils straight away. Just because these are such small delicate little designs, I think if you don't have a small black pen, it would probably make it look a bit too dark if you were using a thicker pen. So I'm just going to zoom you in so you can see some of the details that I'm drawing. I'm just doing a real variety of leaves and flowers. Of course this is inspired by the Paperchase box that I've got beside me, but I'm also kind of making some things up. I'm just doing a variety of flowers, different leaf shapes, some longer and thinner, some of the more rounded circular ones, and I'm adding in plenty of bumblebees and butterflies just to really bring this design together. But I'm sure you get the idea of what we're trying to achieve, so I'm going to let this play through and we can catch up when all the pen is complete. Now that the pen is all done, it's time to rub out all of the pencil marks that are left underneath. Just make sure you're careful when you're doing this, just so you don't accidentally rip or bend the paper. That's why it's helpful having it taped down actually. And then it's time to start adding some colour. So I've actually got a post-it note that I'm going to stick beside me, and this is what I just used to test out the colour of the pen, especially when you're working with lots of different shades of the same colour. It's a little bit difficult to tell sometimes from just the colour on the pen lid, so I just use this post-it note to test out the pen before I use it, and also to check which colours work well together. Now this colouring was really fun to do, but it was very time consuming, so I'm going to speed this section up and just play some music in the background. Feel free to watch it whilst you're colouring along at home. If you'd rather skip to the end to see the final result, I will put the time on the screen and catch up with you once the colouring is complete. So now it's time to fill in the Happy Mother's Day section across the middle that we've left space for. I like to always write out the lettering in the air above the space just to make sure I know where I'm going to put each letter and make sure it'll fit, and then I can go ahead and start writing it in using my favourite bouncy hand lettering. This is it in real time just because I thought it would be interesting for you guys to see how long it actually takes me to do this lettering, and then I'll speed it up in a second. But before you go writing onto the card, it might just be an idea to have a quick practice on some spare paper before you do, just so you feel confident that you're not going to ruin the card that you've just spent hours colouring and drawing. But once you've done the main lettering, then you need to just write happy in smaller writing in a fine liner across the top of the middle of the card, and that's it. There you have your completed hand-drawn Mother's Day card, which I think any mum would really appreciate because it's handmade, it's had a lot of time and effort put into it, and it looks so pretty and is perfect for springtime. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video and found it useful. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and hit the notification bell if you would like to see my future videos, and let me know down below how you get on with creating your own Mother's Day card. But thanks again for watching everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.